Good day, everyone. Welcome back. My name is JayonT, and welcome to my Dungeons & Dragons campaign. In this particular video, I'm just going to go through a little bit of backstory and such. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different characters that I've got, well, the different player characters, the world, the backstory, and so on. So to start, the game that I am running, I did start with a piezo module, as I mentioned in the last video. The module is called Hallow's Last Hope, and it's set in a town called Falcon's Hollow. Falcon's Hollow is in, it's a kind of a small border community in an area. It's mostly surrounded by forests. It's got a few mountains nearby and a river, that kind of wilderness. Now, in my world, I placed Falcon's Hollow in a kingdom called Temiz. It's one of the major kingdoms in my world, and that's a very basic map. The large green area on the bottom is the Kingdom of Temiz. On the right, you have the Satoro Empire, the red area there. The large purple in the middle is the Dominion of Gemma, which is a fairly independent country. And then up top, the light blue and the light yellow. Both of those areas are largely uninhabited. They're not claimed by any country. The yellowish area is more of a temperate desert, and the light blue area is a bit more of a tundra. Originally, I had intended for the world to be strictly north-south as you see it, but the weather patterns kind of came in at a bit more of an angle. So the bottom right of the map is kind of the warmest area, and the top left is the coldest area. Also, you'll notice at the very bottom an island of sorts there, a yellow area. That's an independent island known as Pavaror. So you've got the four main areas that are largely inhabited: the Kingdom of Temiz, the Emperor of Satoro, the Satoro Empire, rather, the Dominion of Gemma, and the independent island of Pavaror. Falcon's Hollow, you may be able to see a large black dot there. That's the area that Falcon's Hollow is located in. Now, the characters that my players are running, I have 5 players in my game. First of all, we have Vulcan Aron, which is he's a rogue. He's an elf. There's not a whole lot provided about Vulcan's backstory. I don't think he was a native of Falcon's Hollow. He was just kind of passing through at the time, and as you'll see in the next few videos, he kind of gets caught up in things. The same can kind of be said for 2 other characters. One guy who simply calls himself Nubster. He's a half-elf, a sorcerer. He has, I believe, a bit of a draconic bloodline. That's what gives him his power. He's a bit of a wanderer as well, and he likes to play with fire, as far from what I've seen. There's also one other roamer character, Luzrelen, I believe is how her name is pronounced. She's a druid. She's also an elf. She has an animal companion, which is a small dinosaur, kind of a velociraptor type thing. We all get a bit of a laugh out of that, having a velociraptor tagging around with the party. That raptor, she is named Matilda. I think that's how she pronounces it. There is an area in my world back in Temiz, one of the northern areas, which is largely populated by dinosaurs. So at some point, Luzrelen has passed through that area, She found an injured dinosaur, tended to it, and that kind of became her animal companion. The other two characters in our game well, first we have a cleric who lives in the town, who's from Falcon's Hollow. He is a human, cleric of Sarenrae, which is a deity, goddess of the sun and healing. And finally, we have Ariel Erin Jordana, a human fighter. She is originally from Falcon's Hollow. She's been out to a few different towns, back and forth. She's traveled around a lot. I believe she served some time with the military. But at the time of the game, if I remember correctly, she was acting on her own, kind of as a bit of a mercenary. I'll leave that up to my players to correct me if I've made any mistakes. So once again, the five characters that we have are Vulcan Aeron, a rogue, Nubster, a sorcerer, Lusrelen, a wandering druid, Lanthus, our cleric of Sarenrae from Falcon's Hollow, and Ariel Erin Jordana, a fighter also from Falcon's Hollow, who was returning home at the time of the game when everything got started. I think that's the basic setup. I will say a few other things about the world. I scaled things to give the area about the same size as about the same landmass as North America. So this is a fairly large continent. Travel around, it can be a little bit slow. Travel between cities and towns and stuff can take several days, even on horseback and even by boat. The kingdom, or the world, the four main kingdoms, Temiz, Gemma, Satoro, and Pavarur, were they divided from each other about 1,000 years previous. The entire continent was once a single country known simply as Lozare, but an argument, a dispute arose among some of the ruling powers over a number of powerful items. I'm not going to give any further details than that, but a war arose amongst within the kingdom of Lozare, which led to the division of the various smaller kingdoms: Temiz, Satoro, Gemma, and Pavarur. In particular, during the war, Temiz and Gemma mostly worked together, and they were largely fighting against Satoro. Satoro was a very violent nation. Pavarur, on the other hand, is mostly made up of people who fled the war, just tried to get away from the continent, away from the bloodshed, just to live their lives in peace. And I think that covers the very basic backstory, and further details will come out throughout the game. So I hope you enjoy. I'm certainly looking forward to talking about it. And one final detail, again, this whole map was once called, the whole continent is known as Lozare. So the name that I've decided to give to this campaign is simply the Relics of Lozare. So that's the title that I'll be using for the rest of the videos. And next time we'll start right at the beginning, starting at Falcon's Hollow, and we'll progress from there, go through the whole game, the whole story. And I hope you enjoy. Once again, my name is JayonT, and this is the Relics of Lozare. See ya!